Just in case you don't know my background, I bought this farm in '79. I started farming up the road in '71, so I've moved once in like 40 something years. This used to be a dairy farm. I used to work on this farm when it was a dairy farm, and we had Jersey cows in that barn and a silo, and I took care of the cows on all three farms that were here. A lot of silage shoveling and manure scraping and all that. So anyway, I bought the farm, slowly converted it into vegetable, and then about 20 years ago I got into the horticultural side in a much bigger way. This greenhouse I built in 1979 when I first bought the farm, and at the time it seemed impossibly big. 30 by 96, it's like, whoa. Jake Guest walked in there once, and when I first built it, and all that, everybody had A-frames back then, of simple wood structures, so things have evolved. Anyway, we've got 10 greenhouses now. It's like 30,000 square feet or so of heated. Now they're all heated greenhouse space, and so we start out pretty early. We start seeding in January, various bedding plants and herbs and things like that, and we ship them all over New England. By the third week of April is when our season starts. We have our own trucks. 2 trucks are on the road 4 days a week delivering to all 4 New England states, including a whole bunch of Whole Food stores in Massachusetts and Connecticut. We had the contract for the last 5 years for every Whole Food store in the Northeast, but we didn't sign the contract this year. I just needed a break, and it was too much. I'm looking for less stress in my life. So that's why I stayed in farming, because it's such a stressful lifestyle. And but somehow this miraculous free time it went into the ozone somewhere. So the free time never appeared, even though we stopped doing the Whole Foods thing. And we're in almost all the co-ops and a lot of garden centers from Connecticut all the way up to Burlington. And but alliums, I started growing garlic. The first year was in 1976. So, or maybe even earlier. So you could say I've been messing around with garlic for a long time. And I realized today, if I keep this up, I'm going to eventually get it nailed down right. I'll learn everything that there is to know about garlic and alliums, because it's a tricky little devil. And, you think you got it nailed, and then you don't have it nailed. But you could do okay if you obey the basic rules and laws of garlic. So I saved some garlic. We started harvesting Monday. We could have harvested it all, but I wanted to hold back so Crystal had something diseases she could find for me and tell me what we did wrong. And then we'll probably finish up tomorrow or Monday or whatever. And any questions before we start off on our
little farm history?
Oh, well.
Did you do that?
I guess, yeah. I bought this in '79. It was a very diversified market garden. I had 20 acres of mixed vegetables, a lot of employees. We opened up a high-end farm market in Brattleboro. Started as a farm stand, opened up a full-scale farm market, bought property, built a really nice building, had a beer and wine license. We did everything. It was a little before its time. I sold it in 1991, $450,000. I wish I kept it. And then I came back to farming, and then I messed around. I was a sales rep for about 8 years for a bunch of different natural food companies. New England was my territory. And it was there that I made the connection for Whole Foods, and I learned how to deal with chain stores and big stores. And I made all my connections when I started up my horticultural business again, as opposed to just the vegetables. I had my markets. I was up and running. So market research and having markets is crucial to any starting business. But I did build the business from the ground up. We started with one Datsun pickup, or maybe actually no, I think a Volkswagen Bug. I took out the driver, the passenger seat, and that was my delivery vehicle. And I delivered down to New York City back in the 70s, to co-ops and stores down there, and marketed maple syrup to Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Zabar's. Basically, I've done a lot of stuff in the marketing end of natural foods and produce. I went down, delivered to Hunts Point, Boston Market, Springfield Market, Black River Produce when they first started. Their Volkswagen bus. They used to haul tomatoes out of Boston, so I knew those guys when they first started. Steve and Mark had a little natural food store in Ludlow, Vermont, and now they're, see their trucks everywhere. So that's the story. We had this, last year we had 14 employees. This year we cut it down because we got rid of Whole Foods. I think we had about 12 or 14, maybe 14 at one point, but 12 basically payroll checks I cut every week. And now that we're in the produce season, we're down to sort of our year-round under half a dozen employees. We try to pay well, we work hard, pay them well, give them time off, and never yell at them, and buy them cold drinks and pizza once in a while. So that's my secret to good employees. People love working here because I have somebody here who's worked for 18 years now.
So welcome everybody to the Allium Twilight. I'm Chris Callahan with University of Vermont Extension. We're also grateful to have Crystal Stewart with us from Cornell Cooperative Extension. Whenever we get together, we tend to talk about garlic and onions, and so we thought we'd just invite some friends and talk about garlic and onions, and lucky enough to have Howard host us here. So anything you want to say to get started? Or should we go and look at some crops?
Yeah, I think we should look at crops, and please ask questions or make comments. It's always a better meeting if everybody shares your experiences, so feel free. Not that garlic growers are ever shy.
And just real quick, can I borrow that folder a second? In the yellow folders are a couple of handouts that we thought would be potentially helpful. One is a nice summary of Crystal and Robert Haddad's Fusarium research under a SARE funded project. Behind that is the University of Georgia Onion Production Guide, which has a good deal of information on not just onions, but allium crops in general. The first one on the right-hand side of the folder is a collection of post-harvest resources that I've collected, as well as my contact information. If I can help you get connected with more info, let me know. And behind that is something specific from North Carolina State University on post-harvest handling of onions. So it talks a lot about pre-cooling because it's North Carolina, but also curing.
One other, I'll add, I'm not a full market garden. I grow basically commodities under half a dozen different items, but I grow a lot of them, so it's sort of focused marketing. I believe in category management, which is a theory of basically focusing on certain things, but controlling that category, being a master of that category. I used to grow 40 or 50 different crops, and I went down that road. And for me, it's a road, to nowhere for me. But for my lifestyle, having a focus is very important as a farmer, so that we make a profit, and grow large enough numbers so that we can invest in the right tools to get the job done. I find if you're too diversified, you're too unspecific, you can never get specific. So that's basically my philosophy. We're certified organic. We're the first certified organic farm in Vermont in 1976. And I'm glad to answer questions. I don't pretend to be an expert of everything at all. I can just tell you what I do. And I don't have that, I may not have the right answer for you. Every farm has its own answers, but you definitely could learn. I've never been to a walk or a seminar that I didn't walk away with something that was, if it's one thing that you learn, it's like awesome. So I've gone for 40-something years. I've gone to seminars. I go to all the winter workshops. I come away with everything. And the UVM and Extension Service has been amazing for all the years I've been involved. And I got to give them a plug because they really are one of the unsung heroes of Vermont agriculture and New England agriculture. And Vern, who's not here, has been a great supporter of organic, and Chris has been an amazing addition to the engineering side, and the enthusiasm and the expertise that we have is really unique in this country. I'm in touch with a lot of farmers all over the country, and they all envy the hell out of Vermont farmers because they think we have it made, because we don't, but it's nice that they think that way. So,
well, cool. Let's head for
anyway, so we'll start the tour, grab a map, grab water.